When Meghan Markle stepped into the global spotlight as the Duchess of Sussex, she crafted an image of elegance, resilience, and modernity. But that carefully polished image was shattered in a shocking live broadcast when her estranged brother, Thomas Markle Jr., broke his silence with a torrent of long-buried family secrets. For years, Meghan has carefully guarded her public persona, portraying herself as a victim of relentless scrutiny, a woman besieged by unfair treatment within the royal establishment. Yet, according to her brother, the real story is far darker, far more calculated, and far more damaging than Meghan ever wanted the public to know. Thomas Jr.'s live revelations painted Meghan not as the misunderstood humanitarian she claims to be, but as a cold, ambitious manipulator who deliberately severed ties with her own family in her pursuit of fame, wealth, and power. His account, raw, unfiltered, and delivered without hesitation, has ignited a firestorm of controversy, leaving millions questioning whether the Duchess's fairy tale narrative was a fabrication all along. From the beginning of her royal journey, Meghan presented herself as a trailblazer. Her biracial heritage, her career as an actress, and her marriage into the world's most famous monarchy were wrapped into a narrative of progress and inclusion. But Thomas Jr. challenged this head-on, alleging that Meghan had long practiced the art of image control, cherry-picking which parts of her life to present while discarding the rest like used props. According to him, Meghan's estrangement from her father and siblings was no tragic accident, but a cold, calculated move. Long before the royal wedding, she allegedly cut off relatives who she believed could threaten her ascent. She didn't want anyone around who could expose the truth about who she really was before Harry, he said during the broadcast, his words landing like thunderclaps across social media. The question is not whether families feud, because they often do, but whether Meghan orchestrated her estrangement as a strategy to maintain control of her narrative. To critics, Thomas Jr.'s testimony felt like confirmation of long-held suspicions that Meghan did not stumble into royal controversy, but engineered it. Perhaps the most damning allegation from Thomas Jr. was that Meghan weaponized victimhood. She thrives when she's the underdog, he declared, because she knows sympathy translates to power. This accusation echoed what royal insiders have whispered for years, that Meghan positioned herself as a perpetual victim, whether of the British press, the royal family, or her own relatives. Yet, according to Thomas Jr., behind closed doors Meghan was anything but powerless. He described her as commanding, ruthless, and manipulative, willing to discard anyone who did not serve her ambitions. Critics argue that her infamous Oprah Winfrey interview is a prime example. While Meghan delivered emotional accounts of isolation and despair, Thomas Jr. claims that she simultaneously silenced those who could have contradicted her narrative. By casting her father and siblings as toxic, she allegedly ensured that their voices would be discredited in advance. This revelation reframes Meghan not as a vulnerable woman driven to despair, but as a calculating strategist skilled at playing the world's sympathies like a violin. One of the broadcast's most painful moments came when Thomas Jr. recounted their father, Thomas Markle Sr.'s heartbreak. A man who once supported Meghan's every ambition, from paying for her private school education to cheering her Hollywood career, was left abandoned and humiliated when his daughter shut him out of her wedding and her new royal life. Thomas Jr. did not mince words. She turned her back on the man who gave her everything, just because he didn't fit the image she wanted to sell. The betrayal struck a nerve with audiences worldwide. While it is true that family relationships are complicated, Meghan's refusal to even reconcile with her ailing father has become a glaring stain on her character. Critics argue that no matter the differences, compassion and forgiveness are duties owed to one's parents. Meghan's refusal, in light of her global platform, appears cold-hearted and self-serving. Her brother's testimony underscored this perception, painting a picture of a woman who does not just distance herself from family, but discards them like disposable inconveniences. Another bombshell revelation from Thomas Jr. concerned Meghan's early obsession with fame. He alleged that even before meeting Harry, Meghan was desperate for recognition, often speaking about marrying rich or climbing Hollywood's social ladder. When she met Harry, he said bluntly, It was the jackpot she'd been waiting for. This claim resonates uncomfortably with the timeline of Meghan's life. While many romanticize her marriage as a story of love triumphing over prejudice and tradition, her brother insists it was far more transactional. He argued that Meghan saw the royal family not as in-laws, but as an institution she could manipulate for global exposure. By aligning this with her subsequent behavior stepping back from royal duties while monetizing her fame through media deals, Thomas Jr. makes a compelling case that Meghan's path was driven not by love or duty, but by ambition. Equally controversial was Thomas Jr.'s take on Harry's transformation. Once the cheeky, grounded prince loved for his humor and relatability, Harry is now viewed by many as isolated, defensive, and estranged from his family. According to Thomas Jr., this is no coincidence. Harry was easy prey, he said. He was vulnerable after losing his mother, distrustful of the press, and Meghan knew exactly how to play that. The allegation is explosive that Meghan exploited Harry's emotional wounds to draw him away from his family and secure him as her partner in a global power play. Indeed, critics have long observed that Harry appears increasingly controlled, echoing Meghan's talking points and cutting ties with the very institution that once defined him. This paints Meghan not only as manipulative, but as someone who knowingly exploited a man's grief to achieve her goals. Thomas Jr. also accused Meghan of sowing division wherever she goes. Within the royal family, her arrival coincided with a noticeable rift between Harry and his brother, Prince William. Staff members within the palace described her as demanding and difficult, while reports of bullying and hostility leaked into the press. According to her brother, this pattern was not new. She's always divided people, he said. Friends, family, colleagues, she plays them against each other and comes out looking like the victim. This aligns with repeated accounts from those who have worked with Meghan. The pattern is clear. Meghan enters a circle, gains influence, and then leaves behind a trail of fractured relationships. Skeptics may wonder why Thomas Jr. chose this moment to air such grievances. Some argue that it is opportunism, a chance to capitalize on Meghan's notoriety. Yet, he insists that his motivation is truth and justice, not money or attention. She's painted us all as villains for years, he said. I couldn't stay silent anymore while the world was fed lies. The broadcast's timing is significant. Meghan and Harry are reportedly exploring new projects to rehabilitate their public image after years of waning popularity. By speaking out now, Thomas Jr. has ensured that their attempts to rebrand will be overshadowed by renewed scrutiny.